What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 114 of the Missed Call Podcast. This is Cub Wood, and as always, I'm here with Sauce Sartori. And along with us today is Haylie Wagner from Athletes Unlimited. How we doing, Haylie?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
So good. Never been better. We're very excited to have you on. The idea of the Athletes Unlimited League has been intriguing to the two of us since we heard about it. Now, we had your Chicago Bandits teammate on, Gwen Svedkis. We had her on a couple weeks ago, and
Months.
Was it months? It feels like a couple of weeks.
It was April.
But listen, when COVID hits, it feels like all the days just kind of mesh together. But we talked a little bit about it. We want to have a deeper conversation with you today about it. Week 1 just wrapped up. How are you as a player feeling about this different style of league?
I'm really excited about it. This whole week has met so many expectations and beyond. Myself and Gwen, we've been working on this since October when we got a call to take a date to New York. And that was like initially just, hey, this is an idea and a thought to actually see it come into play and to be able to actually play softball 11 months later and see everything just fall into place has been absolutely amazing. I love the structure. I love the idea of the points. And when you're playing, you don't really think about winning or losing a game. You think about the points and winning individual points, inning points, and then ultimately the game. So just being able to go through all that, and it's a different process throughout every single inning.
How weird is it to think like that now? Like, you're not worried about the W, you're worried about your own individual points.
It's definitely different. The first game, I kind of forgot about just winning the game in general. It was just get outs. And as a pitcher, that's also always my goal, just to get outs and get my defense back in the dugout to produce runs for me. But it was definitely just an adjustment. We were figuring out how to win the inning. It wasn't win the game. And you can't really coast in this league either. If you score 10 runs in the first inning, then you don't do anything until the 6th, and then they score something, they win all those points. So it's just really crazy.
This might be a dumb question, but this was a thought I had a friend had while we were watching on Sunday is, say, because you have to get outs as a pitcher, say Hannah Flippin at second has less points than you, and she can screw you over by them allowing a run by just having an error,
Mm-hmm. It's definitely weird. So pitchers, it's earned runs that we get negative points for. So if she makes an error, it's not an earned run. But if she's lazy in the 3-4 hole at second base or in the 5-6 hole at shortstop and just doesn't go after it and it's a base hit when she clearly could have gotten an out, it definitely makes you think about the next game, or if you're a captain, the lineup that you want, where you want her, and then ultimately the draft for the following week.
So to the best of my knowledge and the way that I'm understanding how the Athletes Unlimited League works is it kind of creates more of an individualistic approach to what has been for forever a team sport. Now, obviously, we're shooting for winning games. We're shooting for winning innings, like you said. But, for Haylie Wagner, the main focus is to be the best. Like you are trying to be the best player in the league.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is more individualistic than it normally has been for the entire existence of softball, but it's individual, but it is so important to have the team win at the end, because that is 50 points and then everyone get 10 points. So the whole team gets 10 points. So it's still a team effort, but you do think about those individual points.
So what is at stake? What do you win at the end?
So our bonus points to ultimately turn into bonus cash. So the order of 1 through 56, the top number 1 gets a certain price, and then all the way down to the bottom, they still get a price at number 56. So no matter what, we're going to get some small bonus, and it's a nice range of cash as well.
So it's basically like fantasy sports, but in real life, and then at the end, it's like whoever has the most points gets the most cash. Okay, I'm getting it now. I'm getting it.
Yep.
I mean, and that's a really interesting way to approach a sport. I think in America, one of the most popular sports has to be softball. And for whatever reason, at a major scale, Major League Softball League has not necessarily caught fire. The NPF has definitely had its success, but like we're not seeing it on a nightly basis like we are baseball. And so I feel like this is a really cool, different look at it. To come around and do it this way, I think a lot of people are going to tune in. I mean, we've already seen it on ESPN a bunch of times already, which I think is amazing. I think it's so cool.
It's been absolutely amazing, especially just as having this as our first season and first sport to launch through Athletes Unlimited, and to be on ESPN and CBS Sports Network and have those contracts is absolutely unreal and amazing. Being able just to be a part of it and see all the comments and the talk on social media through Twitter. And I go on Twitter right now, yes, given a lot of my followers are softball people, but it's just softball over and over and over again, and watching us on TV and how excited they are. And that's just really cool to see too.
Going off what Saw said about the MPF, do you think with there being so many different professional softball leagues, it's hurting the professional softball brand at all?
I don't think so. I think we're kind of going through a full transition of figuring out what works best. And with Athletes Unlimited, it was meant to be this year as an extra 6 weeks for us to play after the NPF. But obviously with COVID and Bandits being canceled, it's just Athletes Unlimited. So we're hoping that next year we have NPF and then we have AU, and we'll be able just to provide more softball for all the fans, and we get to play longer and give us a little bit of extra money as well.
A win-win-win scenario.
Yep. It's perfect. It really all fell into place. And I know with next year and like the draft for NPF and the college seniors, we don't know what that season's going to look like for them for NCAA. And then we also have Olympics next year still. So it could have a few adjustments to it with NPF and AU, but hopefully that we get to all get it in and we'll adjust accordingly.
What I find interesting about the state of professional softball right now is I really feel like we're almost to that point where we get the large conglomerate league like an MLB or an NFL, right? Because if you look at the history of all major sports leagues, it starts with a bunch of smaller leagues that one day they wake up and they're like, hey, maybe we should do this together. And it seems like the AU is that culmination. There's a lot of different players from different leagues kind of coming together, and you're getting a really good product to watch.
Absolutely. When I was first reached out about this, it was Sherry, who was our commissioner for the NPF, and she had this idea. And I don't know if you guys remember last year, there was a video she put out during championship series or right after saying like there's an opportunity that softball players could be able to play for like a whole year and not actually have to get a second job. And this is what she was talking about. So being able to have the NPF's support on this and having them work together has been really, really amazing. And they're tweeting things out, they're putting stuff on social media. And we're hoping that this whole AU thing and somebody taking a chance on us and this branching out and going into other sports is really going to bring us all together. And you can kind of already see it too.
Yeah, you can see it. Like you were saying on social media, I forgot how much softball stuff I actually followed until it's everything now. And I missed it, honestly. Yeah. It's so great. And then the talent, the quality of talent there, people don't understand how much talent is in AU right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The talent is unreal. It's just competing this past weekend. I forgot how much I loved competing and being out in the circle and just going after the hitters and just fielding ground balls and being competitive in the dugout and watching my offense succeed has been so great. And yeah, I lost my train of thought.
It happens to me all the time. Don't worry about it.
I like you said my team. How fun was it to draft players?
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Never really done like a lineup or really thought so much into this. And I was lucky enough to have Lauren Lappin, who was our Bandits coach last year, as my facilitator. So in the league, we don't have coaches. It's all on us. It's the captains, but we have facilitators who can, if the captain wants, they can coach third base. They can do the lineup. They can do the substitutions. They throw BP, hit ground balls, do all that. So I was lucky enough to have Lappin. And the day of the draft, we sat down in the morning and I had a little bit of a plan who I wanted to draft. I knew who my number one pick was going to be. And then we kind of had a plan from there based off of who the other captains were. So being able to go through like, hey, who are they going to pick? And then I'll have this available. And my strategy in it was, as a pitcher, I want a defense that can hit. So I wanted a really awesome defense up the middle and on the corners and speedsters in the outfield. And then I wanted hitters that can just absolutely hit. And not to have a big head, but I think I did a pretty good job at that. And I did lose to my roommate here yesterday, but it was really awesome. And the strategy part of it was great. Now, building a lineup, Lappin taught me a lot about that. And I had an idea, but she just has so much more experience that she was able just to kind of make me think about it more and figure out what was really going to work.
That's so interesting. It's so cool that that approach. Like, I know I've said it a bunch of times, but like it's kind of like mystifying. Like, how has nobody thought of this yet? And then here we are with it. It's really, really cool. I want to know, as the team captain, you're a pitcher, you know you're going to be in the circle. How cool is it to know that nobody's going to come out of the dugout and try to yank you?
It is pretty cool just knowing that I have that free reign. There was a point where I had a home run hit off me, and I turned to Lappin, and I just told her, I was like, it's time to pull me. So I know myself when I need to be pulled. And it is kind of weird, especially when I'm on the other end of it. I had Sam Shaw start the other day, and us pitchers at this level, we know when we need to be pulled. We know how we're feeling. We're communicating out there, but it's hard to be in the bullpen and watching her on the mound and not really knowing like what she's thinking, how many more batters does she want, and stuff like that. So on Sunday, Sam Shaw, we were trying to get her through all the righties as a righty and trying to have me face the lefties with a lefty-lefty matchup. So it is a lot of strategy behind it.
Going off pitchers, how much of an advantage does like an Ocasio have being able to pitch and hit?
A lot. Her and Sam Shaw are the pitchers that can hit, and they are obviously in the top 4 this week and have been absolutely crushing it. So it definitely is an advantage. I've had a lot of people ask me if I'm going to come out of hitting retirement, and I haven't hit in 4 years, so definitely not this year. But it is a thought if this continues, and I want to play as long as I can. So who knows? Maybe next year I will.
Well, and it's really it's cool to think about how a league like this, where it could be beneficial to be both be that hitting pitcher archetype, if you will. It'll be really interesting to see if more pitchers start to hit the cages more, or if more hitters start to find different circles around the area to go throw in and see, oh, maybe I can throw a rise ball or a drop ball and step in there for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And this week, 3 out of the 4 are pitchers. 2 of them are hitting pitchers, and 1 is just a pitcher, Kat Osterman, at the number 1 spot. But it is crazy to see how dominant the pitchers are right now.
Yeah, and to think about as well, like let's say that we're going to say that this will be successful, and in that scenario, how that could change the game of baseball all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Or softball. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Change the game of softball all the way down the line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting just to see just softball in general. And like I've thought about this like with travel ball teams or high school and even NCAA. I don't know if they'll implement the point system of it all. Maybe coaches will implement it into practice, or kind of having that competitive edge between each other. But the main thing, one of the biggest changes is that substitutions, we're allowed to sub somebody twice. So let's say for some reason I'm hitting and I'm pitching, that I can have somebody come run for me, and then I go back into pitch and I'm back in the lineup, and then they can go in again. So let's say Sam Shaw goes in, and then she can pitch, and then I'm done, but she can re-enter twice. And we can have a pinch runner re-enter twice, or a pinch hitter re-enter twice. So that has been actually very interesting and really enjoyable to have, and to have that option. It's just been a lot more kind of easier and just kind of keeps things exciting in the lineup too.
Most definitely. And if you think about it from a fan perspective, once we do have fans back in the stands, like let's say I come out and I want to see Sam Shaw play, and she for whatever reason isn't in the lineup. Well, if she comes in just to hit once and then she's back on the bench, well, I only got to see my favorite player hit once versus in this scenario, I could see her do something else later in the game.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Which I think is great for fans. I think it'll cultivate a very cool like you can't leave the game early. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like it's really good for pinch runners too and the speedsters that don't start and their specialty is running, just being able to give them more opportunities on the base path, or even if they're just not starting that day for some reason and we got 2 speedsters on the bench, just being able to bring them back in and give them more opportunities, and it's really exciting.
My biggest question about the point system, we talked about this with Gwen, is how come a Grand Slam isn't worth 80 points? I'm serious. This needs to be a thing. They need to make it my rule, because your teammate Jasmine Jackson hit a Grand Slam, I think the first game, and I'm like, there it is. That should be 80 right there.
Well, and maybe we should go over a brief summary of like what the point system is, because that could be confusing to somebody who maybe isn't aware.
Yeah, I know them I know the point system in and out right now. To answer your question, that'd be pretty crazy if it was 80 points. I know that the people behind the scenes that are doing all the numbers and all the math, they have an algorithm that they have, and they tested it out with so many scenarios. I don't know all the stuff behind it, but with the point system for hitters, it's 10 points for a single, 20 for a double, 30 for a triple, and 40 for a home run. And then also for hitters, if you get caught stealing, you get minus 10 points. And then for bunts, sack bunts and sack hits and walks, you get 10 points. And then for pitchers, for every out that a pitcher records, you get 4 points. And every earned run, you get minus 10 points.
Oh.
So that's kind of tricky, but in all reality, if you just keep nobody scoring, you can rack up those points pretty quickly as a pitcher. And then with inning points, every inning that you win, you get 10 points. Now let's say that nobody scores in an inning, those points roll over. So if we have a shutout going into the 5th and somebody scores in the 5th, then and the home team doesn't score, they get 50 points. So
and is that 50 points, is that allotted to each girl on the team? Okay.
Yeah, to each athlete. And then finally is the game points. When you win a game, you get 50 points, everybody on the team. So that's the gist of it. And then also we have MVP votes. So each player on each team gets to vote for the MVP along with select unlimited members, which is our unlimited club that we have online that people can sign up for and get like behind the scene access for stuff. So it's first place is 60 points, second place is 40 points, third place is 20 points for MVP. So we all get to vote for 3 a game. And that also keeps us really engaged with the game and actually having to remember like, oh, Haylie had a shutout inning, or Haylie came into relief for 5 innings and shut them down, or Amanda Chittister went 3 for 3 with 2 home runs. Like just being able to think of that kind of stuff too. It really keeps you engaged.
Well, it can be good too if you end up being a captain the following week and you say, well, Chitty's on fire, so I'm going to draft her.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. You have to think about who's been crushing it, but then you also have to take that risk is they could have had a good week that week, and then the following week they just might go into a little bit of a slump and just not do as well and be facing a different pitcher.
Right. Yeah.
It's a lot of strategy, and it's mentally exhausting sometimes.
I would say it's even more strategy than the regular game of softball.
Absolutely, because the regular game, it's all in the coach's hands. They do the lineup, they do everything, and our goal is just to kind of go out there, score runs, pitchers get them back in the dugout, get outs, and win a game. And now there's just so much more on the line, and it's fun and exciting.
It is. It is fun, and it's exciting. It's refreshing. I'm very excited for Athletes Unlimited. I think it's going to be a game changer, truly.
Absolutely. I think so too. We're all excited. We love it here.
That's awesome.
I'm just waiting for my rule to be under my name.
I will bring it with the head of everybody, and I will say.
Just have them call me. I'll be like, hey, a 2-run home run should be 50 points. 3 runs should be, and so on and so forth.
I'll add it to my list that I have of things to add next year.
Thank you. So you guys are in the bubble, and we talked about this before we went live. You guys are basically an adult camp right now.
Kind of, yeah. All we do is really go to the field and come back to the apartments, and that's about it. We do have one gym we're allowed to go to that we have an early morning slot for, that we're the only ones in there. But other than that, it's field and apartment, and they are being so great. The city of Rosemont, too, has been absolutely amazing, and the Bandits and letting us use the facilities. They changed the dome to accommodate all 56 of us. Our locker room is in the dome, socially distanced lockers. It's just like this little cubicle thing, and it's absolutely amazing. I kind of like it. It's great. We have a huge training room in the dome. They have like a lounge area for with all recovery items and all of our sponsorships. The draft is in the dome. We're able to practice in there. They've just gone above and beyond, and the bubble is not terrible. People, I feel like, think that the bubble, or we're calling it a shield, actually. That the shield is this thing where we can't really do anything, but when we're here to play softball, it's not hard at all. We're here to do one thing, and that's our job, and that's great.
Well, you guys had that like kumbaya, if you will, after yesterday's games in the field, and then Nadia Taylor was going off.
Yes, we did have that, and that was approved, and we were socially distanced, we wore a mask, we were hanging out. It was really fun, and I think we all needed that, honestly. And going through the first few weeks with COVID testing too, and just it's that 14-day time period in that window, and going through it, everybody's still on edge, and we can't back down. We have to still be on edge. We still have to have our guard up. We don't know what's going to happen. So doing that yesterday was the first time that we've all really come together as 40 plus athletes and really talking to each other. And it was really, really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And, if you think about it, I don't know that there is a better complex. We talk about like hub cities. I don't know that there's a better complex for softball for what we have on hand than in Rosemont.
Absolutely not. Rosemont is one of my 3 homes that I like to call home, and it's absolutely amazing. Other ones, obviously California, that will always be home, but Michigan and here. And when I drive into Rosemont, I get like instant butterflies, and I'm like a little kid, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm home. I get to see all my friends and family, and the facility is amazing. Mayor of Rosemont is absolutely amazing. Tony's great. And the field is just beautiful, and what AU has done for the field as well, and the flexibility that everybody with the Bandits has had is absolutely amazing, and they're really making this happen, and it's great.
They redid the turf, didn't they?
Yeah, they redid the infield turf. It was
done,
and it's great, but this year it's actually like small little wood chips. It's not the rubber pellets that we usually have, so it is a little bit different. Sliding and diving, athletes are still getting little cuts and little blood action going on, but not terrible. It's really nice. I like pitching on it, so it's good.
Well, if it's good for you, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Just kidding.
So, Haylie, I gotta ask you. You've been a pro softball player for roughly 6 years. Does it bother you at all that Instagram and Twitter aren't giving you any respect by verifying you?
Athletes Unlimited has been working on that for a lot of people. Given this is my 6th year and softball is it's gotten a lot bigger over the past 3 years and stuff. I am a little bit older, and I've been removed from the college scene and how big it was. And I remember my senior year in 2015, after the World Series, I got 200 follow requests and was thrilled about it. And now people are getting thousands and thousands and thousands. So it's a little generational, and I'm a little far removed from it, but hopefully one day. I enjoy it. And this past week I have gained 150 followers, so I'll take it.
Hey.
I'll take it. Thank you, ESPN and CBS Sports Network.
Flex on them real quick. Yeah, I mean, I got all the followers now.
Plug yourself, Haylie. What's your at?
At Haywag17.
You don't follow her. We'll come to your house. We know who's watching. But I personally request to get verified once a month just for the fun of it.
For why?
You can do that.
For why?
You can do it.
You can.
I'm about to go do it after this.
Because you can in the settings. It's like settings, and then it's like yeah, we're not going to go through
this.
that.
This is great radio. Haylie, you've had the opportunity to live well, to the best of my knowledge, you've had the opportunity to live in 3 places.
Mm-hmm.
And you're pretty close now to the city of Chicago, which is known as the greatest food city in America. In being here, what have you found has been your favorite style of food to eat? And following this question, I have a follow-up question, so be prepared.
Oh goodness, I'm scared. Whenever I come here, like my go-tos that I have to at least get once while I'm here is deep dish pizza, obviously, and Portillo's. Sorry, that's probably your follow-up question.
It is. You're walking right into the trap. I love it.
I'm from California, though, and I got to enjoy it at least once, right? I love Portillo's. I like the Italian beef sandwich, cheese fries, and I love the cake shake. So he's probably hating me right now. But
I'm loving it. It's the complete opposite.
Those are my go-tos when I have to come here.
The cake shake was the greatest culinary invention.
Oh, absolutely.
The world has ever seen.
And I might get one tonight now.
I hope that you do. You of all people deserve it, Haylie Wagner.
Yeah.
So we're talking about deep dish pizza. Let's get real. Let's break it down here for a second. We're talking about deep dish pizza.
hence the name. Hence his name.
Sauce.
Where are we going? Where are we going? You have your choice of deep dish. Where are we going? There's one wrong answer. The rest of them I'll accept. Go ahead.
Okay, so don't get mad. I've only really, before about 3 weeks ago, I only had Giordano's and Gino's East. So I actually had Illuminati's a couple weeks ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Good.
That's what he wanted to say.
I do enjoy like Giordano's when I'm like, it's extra cheesy, and let's say I want a lot of cheese, but I don't know, I'm going to have to go with Illuminati's.
I like your answer.
That's the first time anyone's ever said lose.
I know. Lose has a special spot in my heart.
I have a few Lou fans, so you're not the only one.
I feel like people don't appreciate the crust enough.
Gino's East is terrible. Gino's East is terrible.
It's got its purpose. Gino's East will teach you a lesson about deep dish pizza.
Don't go there ever again. Yeah, I got it.
Well,
check.
I'm not here to slander anybody.
Oh God.
But obviously, Haylie, you can tell we're foodies, and the people are talking, Haylie. The people are talking about your muffins. They're talking about it. They're talking. What is it? The banana cinnamon chocolate chip banana. Banana muffins. It's a mouthful.
Is it?
I wasn't gonna get it right the first time.
Chocolate.
What's the recipe?
Chocolate chip banana muffins. Honestly, it's a recipe off Pinterest for banana bread, and I just turn it into muffins. And my key thing is I don't like to overcook them. I like when they're still like a little bit underdone and they're warm when you eat it, so they're just like nice and gooey inside. I actually made them yesterday for my team, so those are all gone now. But those and a hot commodity as always, and my chocolate chip cookies. I don't know. I love to bake and I love to cook, and it's kind of like a pregame thing for me.
You pregame to baking?
I baked yesterday, yeah.
That's awesome.
It gets her in the zone. So that was actually something I wanted to ask you, and I completely forgot about it. We were in the midst of our softball conversation. As a pitcher, we know that you are a creature of habit. Is baking part of your go day routine?
Most of the time, yeah. I usually have to stay busy throughout the day. So if it's not baking, I'll just, like yesterday, I got a workout in the morning to wake my body up. I feel that as I'm getting older, it's taking a little bit longer for my body to figure out what it's doing every morning.
I felt that on a spiritual level.
Rough. Like I really yesterday I had a full workout in the morning, and then I went to go pitch in the game, and that's probably the best I felt in like 4 days. So I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna lift heavy weights every single day that I have to pitch. But I am a creature habit. I like to kind of keep things calm throughout the day. I take my time in the morning. I'll work out. I'll bake. Yesterday I had to do some adult things like get new car insurance. So I just kind of go through.
Switch to Geico. They can save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Sauce, no free ads. No free ads.
Geico is a AU sponsor, so you're not wrong.
That's why I said it, Cub.
Well, this isn't the AU, so no free ads. No free ads.
But yeah, routine is very important for, I think, a lot of people in this league.
Baking.
Good.
Baking. Next time, I'm trying to think, when will I need to have a routine that I'll have to be like, oh, I'm going to bake before I go do that?
Well, it depends on. Never mind.
I think it's awesome. It's like, all right, a game's at 1. I got to get up at 8 to make the.
It's usually the later games, like 7 games. Like last year with the Bandits, it was always late. I usually ended up baking because I don't like waiting around all day. I'd rather do like 3 o'clock game or 4 o'clock game.
You guys would always have sweets. Someone would always be like, hey, Colby, they got cookies in the back. You want some? I'm like, what am I going to say? No? I haven't ate since 10, and it's 7.
Yep. Always. I don't know what it is. We like our desserts and we like our treats here in the softball world.
Trying to figure out what it would look like if you had like a matinee game, like maybe like 120 or something, and you still wanted to do the workout and bake and all that. You probably have to get up at like what, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning?
I don't think I'd figure something out, but not that.
She'd go to Jewel and buy some already made cookies. Be like, yeah, I made these, and put them in some Tupperware.
I had to, yes.
That's the move. If somebody tells me to bring a side to share, I go to Jewel, I get one of those cookies, and I put it in a basket and be like, this is charcuterie. This is my version of charcuterie. Haylie Wagner, this has been tremendous. This has been so much fun, so educational. I hope that everybody listens so that they can learn about the AU and how awesome that it's going to be and how awesome it already is. Before we let you go, is there anything that you would like to plug?
You can catch us on every Saturday and Sunday for the next 4 weeks on ESPN networks, and then every Monday on CBS Sports Network. It's exciting, it's new, it's intriguing, and it's a lot of pro softball that a lot of people have been waiting to watch. And you can also go on auprosports.com to keep up with everything, the stats, the schedule, as well as buying merch. And you can also go and buy your favorite athletes' merch shirt. Right here.
Write that down.
It's alphabetical, so just scroll to the very bottom for Wagner. And you can get your shirt and rep us all year long and just support AU softball. And then you guys can follow me at HeyWags17.
Do
Wonderful.
it now.
Yeah, please go follow Haylie. Again, Haylie, thanks so much for joining us today and teaching us so much about AU. That's going to do it for us on episode 114 of the Missed Call Podcast.
See you guys.